What's the political situation like in Edo State at the moment, with all the things that happened within this last few days? The defection of Philip Shaibu, the attack at the airport, everything seems to be happening in quick succession.
Yeah, thank you. I will start with the last comment that, drew up this Edo issue. It's sad that at times Edo is always in the news for the bad reasons, right? And I think if you ask me as a lawyer, it was in the news for the good reasons when we had our deputy governor who were elected along with Obaseki in 2020 was reinstated. And I must quickly say that I have attended several interviews here where we tried to market Obaseki before the September 19, 2020 governorship election. And it gives me at times I develop goosebumps when I think about the number of TV appearances I had on Kakaki. Since that time, I've never appeared on Kakaki. But it's sad that I'll be talking about a governor that has served as commissioner, and I had to resign my membership of PDP and from his government because of his very dictatorial tendencies. I saw a video where the governor was saying Nigeria will burn. Such a cavalier statement should not come from a man given the mandate to protect lives and properties. And he used the exact words of the governor was, we will burn. And the question is, who is the we? And I'll tell Nigerians that the we were the same people who attacked the deputy governor and the APC candidates the moment they touched ground and were about to exit the Benin airport. They were ambushed. A police officer was killed, and the governor did not even come out with a statement. You saw when Donald Trump was attacked, you saw President Joe Biden's response. And Joe Biden has done the honorable thing by pulling out from the race to reduce the tension. At a time like this, as chief security officer, we have a governor that does not even look at the security situation in our state. Not too long ago, we heard of court killings. Over 100 young people were killed. So for me as an Edo person, I'm not happy. It is not a time to be political. It is a time to be patriotic. Your deputy governor was reinstated. You are preventing him. I remember when the governor sometime last year removed him from government house, right? So why is there fear around he will not come back to government house. He has an office outside, but what do? The secret police of Obaseki, and that's why we have issues with this issue of state police. The issue of abuse is inevitable. A situation where a governor says his own deputy, elected on a joint ticket, cannot resume, even when there's a court order, that's contempt of court. Even if a governor has immunity, his deputy also has immunity. But those aides of the governor, the likes of Chris Nekar is Commissioner for Communication, Crusoe Sage, they have not read the order. The order has restrained them from preventing Shaibu from assuming his duties as deputy governor. And to come to the issue of his defection.
We'll come to you to
just hold on.
that thought. Yes, because there's really so much to talk about. Yeah, but another guest is joining us virtually. Jimo Ijegbai is also former commissioner for education in Edo State. Thank you so much, Jimo, and welcome to the program.
Thank you. God bless you. And to our viewers, good morning to everyone.
Yes, indeed. Do you share the same thoughts with Andrew here over what he has said about the situation in Edo State?
Well, I don't know why Andrew will be talking that way. To start with, a judgment was given by a federal high court judge. That judgment has been appealed against, and there is an application for stay of execution. And when you do that, when parties submit to the judiciary, you must exhaust all necessary steps in that direction. When you submit to the rule of law, you don't resort to use of force. Self-help. He is a lawyer. He knows very well that there are procedures for enforcing a judgment. If a party defaults in enforcing a judgment, there is what we call Form 48 and Form 49 to ensure that there is compliance with an order that has been given. For us, we are allowed under the law, having appealed and having brought an application for stay of execution. You exhaust this. You don't force yourself on people. I was surprised over the weekend when I had a former deputy governor rolling out names of appointees that he's appointing into government. Section 193, subsection 1 of the Constitution is very clear as to the duties of the deputy governor. A governor may delegate. In this instance, a judgment that is relying on have been appealed against, there is an application for stay of execution, which one way or the other has not been decided. It doesn't resort to use of self-help. Kade Esho of blessed memory was very, very apt when he said a military governor of Lagos State and Ojukwu, that while using force to effect an act and while acting under the martial of force seeks the court's equity is an attempt to infuse timidity into the judiciary. It must never be allowed. Philip Shaibu has rightly gone to court. It's his fundamental human right to go to court, to challenge whatever he feels is wrong. Now, I take you to the case of Ladoja in Oyo State. In 2005, 18 members of the House of Assembly met in a hotel and Ladoja was impeached. Ladoja, some legislators decided to go to court. But the trial judge, Ige J, as he then was, decided to say, no, the court does not have jurisdiction. Ladoja went to the Court of Appeal. Ogebe JCA, as he then was, gave judgment in favor of Ladoja. Ladoja didn't stop at that level. The legislators appealed to the Supreme Court. Like we have in this instance now, there is an appeal pending. Ladoja didn't force himself, didn't bring himself to government house in Agodi in Ibadan. But he waited patiently. On the 7th of December 2006, the Supreme Court, Nikki Toby presiding, decided to say the impeachment was null and void, and Ladoja have to return back as governor of Oyo State after 2 years. I do not see any reason when you submit yourself to the court, you cannot wait until you exhaust all applications that are pending before the court. You now want to take the laws into your hands and say you want to force yourself on the people. It's not done that way. Rule of law, you must respect and exhaust every necessary step that is being taken.
Okay, Jimo, I'd like to take you back to something you said earlier on. You said a stay of execution has been applied for.
Yes.
My first question on that is, when you apply for a stay of execution, I'm not a lawyer, I'm just seeking information here. When you apply for a stay of execution, does that mean that the stay has been given or granted by the courts? And does it mean that... But just hold on. And then the other issue I would like you to address is that I have a certified true copy of the ruling here, the judgment by Justice Omotosho. I'm holding that here with me. And relief number 5 that was granted here says that a declaration of this honorable court is hereby made that the plaintiff is still the occupant of the office of Deputy Governor of Edo State and that the seat of the office of Deputy Governor of Edo State has not become vacant. Now, you've talked about the fact that the House of Assembly has applied for a stay of execution. Does that negate what the judgment says?
Listen, when there is a judgment you are dissatisfied with, under the law, you are allowed to appeal, just like the House of Assembly has done to the Court of Appeal. And they followed up with an application for stay of execution of that judgment.
Yes, I understand that.
You must wait.
What I'm asking you is, does an application, do you equate an application to an order that has been granted?
Under our justice system, if you file an application for stay, it does not, but when an application is pending for stay, parties are bound to wait the outcome one way or the other of the decision on that application before you go further. That is the point I'm making. Yes, a judgment has been given, which the House of Assembly is dissatisfied with. And under the Constitution, they are allowed to go on appeal. They have done that.
All right.
In Ladoja's case, Ladoja, the Court of Appeal gave judgment in his favor. But the House of Assembly appealed to the Supreme Court and stayed execution of that order until the Supreme Court eventually, on the 7th of December 2006, gave a judgment nullifying the impeachment of Ladoja because all constitutional requirements were not met. 18 out of 32 cannot be to impeach Ladoja. In this case in Edo, it's a different case. 19 House of Assembly members were sitting. 18 decided to vote for the impeachment of the former deputy governor.
All right. Let Andrew react or respond to you on this one.
You know, when I heard my friend, my learned senior, Jimoh Ejigba, a lawyer, a respectable lawyer, talk about the deputy governor in the manner he did. I asked, is this the same person that was his chief of staff until recently? Is this the same person Shaibu recommended as a commissioner, as a local government chairman? Is this the same person, when we were last year in the trenches, Shaibu gave him 20 million naira? It explains who politicians are, and I'll leave it there. Then coming back to the issue, I'm happy you read that certified true copy. And of course, the Inspector General of Police was served as a law-abiding official of this government. He ensured the implementation of that judgment. So as we speak, just as the court has said that that office was never vacant, and the exact words of the court is that he's still the deputy governor. The Ladoja's case he referred to in Nakojo and Adeleke, as a university lecturer, I have an article, and I'll refer him to an article in the Calabar Law Journal, where I analyzed that case. At the lower court, Ladoja did not win, unlike here that Shaibu won clearly. It was at the Supreme Court that the law was set, and it was after that decision he assumed his office. You asked him a very simple question, a basic question that a year 2 law student would know, namely, does a stay of execution amount to an order of execution? The answer cannot be yes. It was while we were in court we heard that, oh, they filed an appeal. We were still in court. They said they applied for stay. We have not been served with that application. It is a social media application. And besides, the court that granted, that gave that judgment is that same court you normally apply to. It is when the court refuses, you now send it upstairs. It does not even end there to the Court of Appeal. So for us, the deputy governor has resumed. He was received by the APC on Saturday as a member of the party, as deputy governor of Edo State. That's that thing they don't want to hear. They don't want to hear that there's an APC deputy governor under a PDP government. It's not the first time it will happen in Nigeria. Remember in 2007, Atiku joined the then ACN, right? Obasanjo wanted to remove him from office as vice president. He went to court, and that issue was resolved by the Supreme Court. That it is only where a member of a legislative house, like a House of Assembly, or of the National Assembly defects, that he loses his seat. That the office of governor, deputy governor, president, and vice president are protected. They have a right of freedom of association under Section 40. And for those saying that tribal is not relevant, it is sad to hear them because I, as a Nigerian student, were the ones that elected him as our NANS president. He was NANS president in this country. The entire Nigerian students voted for him as their president. He ran for House of Assembly in 2007. Yes, 2007. He won. He won twice. He was majority leader. He was elected majority leader. He was elected as a member of the House of Reps. From there, he was nominated as deputy governor. With his presence, Obaseki won in 2006. There was a fairly unknown Obaseki. Nobody knew him before that time. His name was unknown to Nigerian history. Oshomole made him governor of Edo State because he brought him from nowhere, from political obscurity. His election was the first election Obaseki would vote in. This same Oshomole, when he became governor, he arranged other APC governors to remove Oshomole as national chairman because I was part of that process. We got an ex-party order, asked him, there was a stay of execution. They went ahead to remove Oshomole. The day Oshomole was removed as national chairman, the Court of Appeal sat 6:30 p.m. in the evening, right? Oshomole's counsel was not there. He was removed by the Court of Appeal. The heavens fall. The deputy governor has been reinstated, and they want to make Edo State very ungovernable. A governor say, we will burn. That was not the intention of the founding fathers. When they said, though tribes and tongue may differ, in brotherhood will stand. So where is the brotherhood? If Edo State burns, if Nigeria burns, how does it favor Obaseki that leaves office on the 12th of November this year? The truth is, he will face the law. That statement is a treasonable offense, that he has executive immunity, does not preclude security agencies for questioning him. What will you, as a governor, say the country will burn? On the 29th of this month, they are planning a protest, and it's referring to that day they want to burn Edo State because you are leaving office, because your party, the court has said your party does not have a valid candidate.
Okay, just hold on. I believe we have a clip of the governor of Edo State speaking. Let's take that clip and we kind of see if he did say what you said, what you're attributing to him.
To you. But you know, we just kept quiet last Thursday. If they try what they tried last Thursday, again in the book, Nigeria will go. Hey! And I will lead it.
We just listened to the governor of Edo State there in that clip speaking to people at a political rally. But let's go back to Jimoh Ejigba, who is joining us virtually now. What are your thoughts on these issues. You had the governor speak there.
Well, before I go into what the governor said, let me first of all reply to my learned junior.
I need you to do that very quickly because we have to go on a break in about a minute.
Yes. First, I was elected chairman of Owa East local government 2013. Philip is not from my local government. In any way, he did not assist me. I was made commissioner for local government and chieftaincy matters in 2017 and later deployed to education in 2019. Philip was not the governor of the state. He didn't recommend me. And I was made chief of staff by office of the governor. That is the point I'm making. Every appointment is made by the office of the governor. Section 193 is very clear. The governor may decide to delegate powers to a deputy governor. In the case of Edo, the former deputy governor was over-pampered by Mr. Governor to the extent that he felt he was equating himself with the governor. Those are the issues. And now the House of Assembly, in their wisdom, decided, pass through all that is required, and he was impeached.
Jimo, can you hear me, Jimo?
On the 8th of April.
Jimo,
yes.
Can you hear me? We have a few seconds to go. We have to go on a break now. But I'd like you to respond to that clip of the governor speaking there.
The governor never made any statement. He is the chief security officer of the state.
But we just saw a clip.
His duty is to ensure that there is peace in the land. You can't force yourself that on the basis that you have a judgment that have been validly appealed against, you now come, you take the whole city for a ride, you engage boys, thugs. Where there is rule of law, there is no use of self-help. Purely what he was trying to do was the result of self-help. And no governor, no sitting governor will watch his people being harassed. Jimo, are you aware that the NBA house was attacked in Benin? They went to the extent of going to the NBA house. What does the NBA have to do with the crisis on ground?
What's going on in the state? Our guests are still very much here. Andrew Enwata, former commissioner for communication and orientation, Edo State, and Jimo Ejegbai, former commissioner for education, Edo State. Okay, so we'll come back to the studio for Andrew to respond, but we need you actually, Jimo, to tell us exactly what the governor meant by that statement. If you think what he meant is not to cause trouble, that they do or Nigeria will burn, what does that statement really mean to you?
Go on.
Okay, Jimo is not there. Andrew, would you respond? Okay, we need to take that clip again, and then maybe we didn't hear the governor properly. Let's see.
The rest is up to you. But you know, we just kept quiet last Thursday. If they try what they tried last Thursday again in the book, Nigeria will go.
On behalf of all of us.
Okay, we just saw that clip again. Jimo Ejegbai, we are coming back to you. You said the governor didn't say that, but that was the clip again. What do you say now?
What the governor said was that if they try the sort of thing that happened when they were coming from Abuja whatsoever, to use the force of arms and seize the peace of Edo people, that he was not going to tolerate it. And he's entitled to do that because he's the chief security officer of the state. His primary duty is to ensure that there is peace in Edo State. That an NBA office was attacked in the name of coming to execute a judgment. I have not seen that in my life. When a judgment is given and the other side is defaulting, there are process of enforcing judgment. There is procedure for enforcing judgment. You don't take laws into your hand in the name of, under the guise of executing a court judgment.
All right.
My friend knows that when a judgment is given and one side is defaulting in enforcing, there is a procedure.
Okay, Jimo, let's hear Andrew's point of view on this.
I think the words of the governor, if he wants to be honest, I don't believe in being mentally dishonest. He said Nigeria will burn. He referred to what happened on Thursday. What happened on Thursday, the governor, for the first time in responding to it, said Nigerians will burn. I mean, it's a time for people to play leadership role by offering something exemplary. Somebody died. He didn't talk about the person. A police officer was shot, right, by uniformed men, unknown gunmen. believed to be person sponsored by his own government. And the first thing the governor will say in response to that is that if they try what they tried last Thursday, Nigeria will, I mean, why would Nigeria burn over our election? We don't need this kind of, I remember a former president offered leadership, Jonathan, when he said my re-election is not worth the blood of every Nigerian. That was a patriotic statement. Compare that with what a governor telling Nigerians, the world, that the country or the state will burn. And coming back to the facts, I don't know why Jimo is lying. The NBA house, nothing happened to the NBA house, except they just burned that place now. They did something to that place. In all the story you have reported, was anything said about NBA house? We just elected our president. The previous speaker congratulated him. Afam Osigwe SAN. That's the only thing about NBA. So I don't think it is fair if you are the chief security officer of the state to abuse your office. And that's why I recall a situation where Curtis took over Benin City. AIT reported it. The governor was now blaming heads of communities that the Oba appointed, Okagilis. He even placed a ban on them as a dictator. But recently, the Federal High Court has nullified the action of the governor, that these people are free individuals. Every community should have a youth leader. And they assist the Oba because the governor has very high disdain for the Oba of Benin. And I'll tell you why the APC candidate was attacked. Should I tell you why? He visited the Oba of Benin to congratulate him. 2 artifacts were returned by the University of Iowa. Went to the Oba's palace to thank God that those stolen artifacts from incidents of 1899. I remember when that incident happened, it was Obaseki's ancestor that took over as Oba of Benin. He became an administrator on behalf of the British people. You see history repeating itself. Because the man went to congratulate the Oba, the next incident was when he was at the airport and he was attacked by agents of the Obaseki government. We don't have democracy in Edo State. What we have is not democracy, and I'll tell you why. Even internally within the PDP, they didn't have proper primaries, and that is why the court has nullified the process.
But
this was a man that said,
member of the PDP,
I handled that case on behalf of my clients. I handled that case, and the court, and they have filed 4 appeals. And that is why, because they know they don't have a candidate, a valid candidate, they have resorted to violence. The rule of law must be respected. A court gave an order. That Shaibu is the deputy governor. He remains the deputy governor. His office was not vacant. And you see them making all kinds of statements. But you don't need to execute that because he was elected. Edo people elected him. And the judiciary just confirmed it. He has referred to the Ladoja's case. And I want to say again, at the level of the High Court, the Ladoja's case, Ladoja lost at the High Court. Shaibu won. And as a lawyer, you should learn how to distinguish. You don't just talk anyhow on national TV.
But that attack, really, that attack that happened at the airport, the Edo State government has even petitioned, I think the IGP or the Commissioner of Police talking about even blaming Shaibu and his thugs as people who
let me paint a scenario for you, ma. It's because law teachers will use scenarios. You are my opponents. I come into your town, right? And I'm happy my people came to receive me. At the entrance of your town, I'm attacked. Is it possible that I organize my own attack? I mean, it does not make sense. Does it make sense?
Okay, let's go over to Jimo now. He's been teaching to say something.
I take very serious exception to his choice of language. The governor is very responsible. As I went he's talking, I don't know the political party he belongs. He left us in PDP and went to APC. From APC, he went to Labour. I don't know whether he's back today in APC. I don't know where he's talking from. I'm talking seriously. He's talking that the court nullified our judgment. He came on national television to deceive everybody as to the intent and purpose of the judgment of Justice Eko. Justice Eko never nullified the primaries of the PDP. And after that, the same Omotosho that you are relying on his judgment has gone ahead to say that the PDP had a valid primary. Nobody nullified the primaries of the PDP. Don't deceive anybody. You cannot deceive any person. If our candidate in the election has gone ahead to congratulate the Oba of Benin on the return of the artifact, that cannot be a ground. If you had a judgment from the Federal High Court, a court of first instance, the very first court, there is Court of Appeal, there is Supreme Court. The House of Assembly is entitled to exhaust all their constitutional rights of appeal, which they have done. And they came up with an application for stay of execution. Do you take the laws into your hand and you want to turn the state into a state of anarchy because you had a judgment that had been appealed against? No, the rule of law does not allow for that. Now that you had a judgment which had been appealed against, and there is an application pending, what will you tell the judge by the time you get back to argue the application? And you sat down, he sat down in the comfort of his room, dishing out, making appointment. I'm very surprised that after 7 years in government, he does not know how the government operates.
All right, Jimo.
The appointment into any position in the state, letters are issued by the SSG. You follow through biometrics. How can a man get up in the morning, you say you are making an appointment? Is he the governor of the state? Does he know what his roles are under Section 193, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution? His roles are very clear. And I'm surprised that after 7 years, the same Shaibu orchestrated the removal of our friend, late Zakanu Garuba Speaker, without getting to third majority of the House of Assembly. They ensured that Garuba followed up that case to the Supreme Court until he won. They never returned. He was never paid until he died. And one time, it's just for the fact that they didn't return you as a commissioner does not mean you carry out venom to a man you once served as a commissioner. If you were found capable, I'm sure that you would have been returned as a commissioner. You didn't come back because you never lived up to expectations.
Jimo, I don't want us to degenerate to the point of exchanging brickbats here. Let's stick with the issues, please. If you don't mind, we're talking about politics in Edo State, and it's not about either you or Andrew here, but we need both you and, of course, Andrew here to keep the language moderate. Let's be temperate in our expressions.
You have the right of reply.
Yes, you do. You have a right of reply.
He said something about the governor, and I did say it here, just as a prelude to what I believe he was told, because I was commissioner for information. They prepared them what to say, how to attack guests. I will start with when the governor dissolved his ESCO. The First Lady wanted me, a validly elected youth council, election was done, November 2022. He wanted me to dissolve the ESCO before the elections, so that with that, the youths who were sympathetic to a particular person, right, will vote for our candidates. And I said, Your Excellency, I cannot do that. It was one of the conditions they gave, and another condition was that my House of Assembly candidate must emerge. I fulfilled that one. They kept on that youth council thing, because I'm a Democrat. People were elected. So when the governor dissolved his ESCO, I was the one that said I didn't want to be part of it again. We had primaries in my local government. My ward, my candidate won the first time. The governor cancelled the election. They did it the second time. My candidate won the councillorship candidate. His chief of staff had somebody who was sponsoring, but not from my local government. If I said I don't want to serve in Obaseki's government, that resignation is a public matter. In terms of capacity, as Commissioner for Information, I delivered. As Commissioner for Youth, I delivered. The governor took away EBS and Observer, the two media houses away from my watch. It was the special advisor media that was. But I was creative. At the end of every ESCO, I ensured that we addressed the press. I organized a webinar that commissioners will address Edo people globally. They removed me because some of them were afraid to appear on the webinar. They didn't like the fact that we were telling people what was happening. We had an open government policy that was submitted in ESCO. The governor refused to allow it. As a member of the State Tenders Board, there were certain things they would do, which I cannot disclose here, that I did not support. So the fact that I said I was not going to serve Obaseki's government, is that a crime? Obaseki offered me House of Assembly ticket. If I'm not a man of capacity, would he have offered me a Labour Party ticket because he was in charge of Labour Party? This man talking, they were not sure of their fates. It was Danobis group that were the legitimate people. We pursued their case, me and Shaibu, up to the Supreme Court. When Peter Obi visited Obaseki, I was in government house.
Right.
The governor supported Labour Party and not the PDP candidate.
Andrew.
We know these facts,
Andrew.
but we don't want to come on national TV because he's
Andrew.
washing his dirty linen. I will not join him.
Andrew, we have to go now. We have to give you that right of reply, but we thank you also for coming on the program. We also thank Jimo Jagbai for joining us this morning. Thank you so much for sharing your views. We've been speaking with two former commissioners in Edo State, Andrew Mwata.